Yes, now we'll discuss about the facial nerve. Facial nerve is the seventh cranial nerve. It is nerve of second pharyngeal arch. First of all, we'll discuss about the functional component of the facial nerve. Functional component. Functional component. If you cut a transverse section of the brain stem at level of the pons, you will see this is basilar part of the pons. So this is transverse section of the pons. This is midline. Here lies abducent nerve nuclei. This is sixth nerve nuclei. This is sixth nerve nuclei. This is abducent. And here is position of this is seventh nerve nuclei, that is facial nerve nuclei. From here, nerve fiber passes and goes here upward, and it turns here from the internal genu. This is internal genu. This is known as internal genu. This acute bend is known as internal genu. So this is internal genu. And then it passes here. It leaves the pons from its inferior border, and then this fibers passes, and ultimately it gives supply to the here muscle of the facial expression. So this component which gives supply to the muscle of the facial expression, this is special visceral efferent. So this is special visceral efferent. So one component is special visceral efferent, which passes and through this route, and here it gives supply to the muscle of the facial expression. So this is special visceral efferent. And another nuclei are present here. One nucleus and here another nucleus, both lies close to each other. These nuclei are superior salivatory nucleus. This is superior salivatory nucleus. One is superior salivatory nucleus, and another is lacrimatory nucleus. So this is lacrimatory nucleus. This is lacrimatory nucleus. From superior salivatory nucleus, fibers passes, and as you know, here it passes to the submandibular ganglion, and from this ganglion, the postganglionic fibers give supply to the submandibular gland and also sublingual salivary gland. Sublingual salivary gland. So this is general visceral efferent fiber. Another general visceral efferent fiber rise from lacrimatory nucleus. It also passes like this. And here it goes to pterygopalatine ganglion, From pterygopalatine ganglion, postganglionic fibers goes to lacrimal gland. So this is also general visceral efferent fiber. And the fibers, these are the motor fibers. And the fiber are sensory fiber. From anterior 2/3 of the tongue, this is anterior 2/3 of the tongue. These are the special visceral afferent fiber from anterior 2/3 of the tongue. These fibers. Here is ganglion, this is geniculate ganglion. So this part is peripheral part and this is central part. So the central part of the special visceral efferent fiber, special visceral afferent fiber, it carries taste sensation from anterior 2/3 of the tongue except circumvallate papilla. From here it goes to nucleus of Tractus solitarius. This is Tractus solitarius. So it goes to nucleus of the Tractus solitarius. And the fibers. If you see, here is general visceral afferent fiber. It receives information from the concha. Here it also communicates. It receives from the concha and it also communicates with the vagus nerve. So fiber passes through. Here is ganglion. This is geniculate ganglion. This process is peripheral process and this is central process. The central process goes to, this is spinal nucleus of trigeminal. So this is spinal nucleus of trigeminal. So these are the functional components. You can see these in the facial nerve, special visceral efferent fibers present, general visceral efferent, and special visceral afferent and general somatic afferent fiber. These are the general somatic afferent fiber. So these are the functional component of the facial nerve. Thank you. Yes, now we'll discuss about the facial nerve, its course and relation and branches. First of all, we'll make diagram. Here is brain stem. This is midbrain, this is pons, this is medulla oblongata. And you have seen in pons there are 4 functional component nuclei present. These are the motor nucleus. Here one is motor nucleus, that is special visceral efferent, and there is general visceral efferent. Here is general visceral efferent and there is general visceral efferent, and there is special visceral afferent. This is special visceral afferent. Here is special visceral afferent. And there is general somatic afferent. And nuclei of the general somatic afferent is spinal nucleus of trigeminal. So this is trigeminal nucleus, spinal nucleus of trigeminal, spinal nucleus of trigeminal. And special visceral afferent, here nucleus is nucleus of solitary tract, Tractus solitarius. And in general visceral efferent, here is 2 types of the nuclei, superior salivatory nucleus. This is superior salivatory nucleus, one is superior salivatory, and another is lacrimetal nucleus. And special visceral efferent is the motor nucleus. So this is motor nucleus, this is motor nucleus of the facial nerve. So these nuclei present in the pons, and from where the facial nerve arise. And as you know, facial nerve has two roots, motor and sensory root. So this is pontomedullary junction. From here, this junction, this motor root, and another root is sensory root. So this is sensory root. It arrived from this junction. And if you see the relation at here, this is position of the, here is, after arising from here, it goes anterolaterally along with the vestibulocochlear nerve, 8th cranial nerve, and it passes through the internal acoustic meatus. So this is internal acoustic meatus. If you see position of the internal acoustic meatus, if you enlarge this, then here is position of the motor nucleus, motor nerve fiber, and here is sensory nerve fiber. So this is nervous, sensory nerve fiber is also nervous intermedius because it lies between the two bundles of nerve fibers. This is motor, this is sensory. This sensory is known as nervous intermedius. Here is 8th cranial nerve, vestibulocochlear nerve. This is vestibulocochlear nerve. So here vestibulocochlear nerve passes through here, through this internal acoustic meatus. So these two, motor and sensory is known as nervous intermedius. So both these join at the bottom of this, both these parts join after passing through this internal acoustic meatus. At the bottom, these two join, form single trunk, and then this passes through the facial canal. From here it passes through the facial canal, which lie in relation to the middle ear and internal ear. So from here fiber goes and it turns like this. This is genu. Here initially you have seen the, here is position of the 6th cranial nerve. So here was genu. You have seen in previous lecture. This is internal genu, and here a facial colliculus is formed due to this genu in the floor of 4th ventricle. So this is internal genu, and this bend is external. This is external genu, and it turns downward here. Here is position that this is foramen. This is stylomastoid foramen. This foramen is stylomastoid foramen. Here mastoid process is present. Here styloid process is present between this stylomastoid foramen. So it passes through the stylomastoid foramen and it turns anteriorly on the lateral surface of the styloid process, and here this enters into the parotid gland. As you know, here is position of the parotid gland. This is parotid gland. So it passes through parotid gland and it gives here 5 branches. So these 5 branches are, this is temporal, zygomatic, buccal and marginal mandibular. This is cervical. So these are the 5 branches through which all the muscles of the facial expression is supplied. And posteriorly, just after emerging to this, here it gives posterior auricular branch, it gives supply to the occipital muscle, occipital belly of the occipital frontalis muscle. This is occipital muscle, and under it gives supply to posterior belly of the digastric. So it gives supply to the posterior belly of the digastric, and also stylohyoid muscle. So here you can see it gives here 5 branches, here 3 branches, and here this part from here to here, this is in relation to the middle ear and internal ear. So here it gives branch. This is stapedius branch, which gives supply to the stapes muscle, stapedius branch, and about 6 millimeter above to this it gives a branch. This branch is chorda tympani branch. This is chorda tympani branch. Chorda tympani branch. This branch, as you know, passes here. It passes through the posterior canaliculus, and here in between this is posterior canaliculus. Here is anterior canaliculus. Between posterior and anterior canaliculus, here is position of. Here is position of the tympanic membrane. Here this is malleus. So it passes between malleus and handle of the handle of the malleus and long process of the incus. So it passes between these two. This is the handle of the malleus. Handle of the malleus and long process of the incus. So it passes between these two in relation to the pars flaccida, or the atic part of the tympanic membrane. So this is posterior canaliculus, this is anterior canaliculus. Then it passes through petrotympanic fissure, goes to the infratemporal fossa, and from infratemporal fossa it goes into the, it gives supply to this. Here is this is tongue. So it gives supply to the anterior 2/3 of tongue. Before going to supply, it joins with the lingual nerve. This is lingual nerve. So this chorda tympani joins to lingual nerve and gives supply to anterior 2/3 of tongue. And here, as you know, here one ganglion is present. This is submandibular ganglion, and through submandibular ganglion it gives supply to the submandibular salivary gland, and here is sublingual salivary gland. And posteriorly it gives branch to which communicate through this. Posteriorly it gives branch which communicate with this vagus. This is position of the concha. This concha is supplied by, skin of the concha is supplied by vagus, so it merge with the, it communicate with the vagus. Anterior under branch, here at the genu it gives branch. This is greater pectoral nerve. It passes through this is nerve to pterygoid canal. This is pterygoid canal. Here is position of, this is position of the sympathetic plexus around the internal carotid artery. This is internal carotid artery. Here is internal carotid artery. So this plexus is formed around the internal carotid artery. So from this plexus, deep pectoral nerve passes. So this is deep pectoral nerve. So these two, this is greater pectoral and deep pectoral nerve join to form nerve to pterygoid canal. So this is nerve to pterygoid canal. This is nerve to pterygoid canal. And from here, this goes into the pterygopalatine fossa, and here is pterygopalatine fossa. There is ganglion. This is pterygopalatine ganglion. This is ganglion. It is suspended with the maxillary nerve. So it goes here, and from here postganglionic fibers. From here postganglionic fibers arises and goes to this maxillary nerve. From its branches, zygomatic branch. This is zygomatic branch. This zygomatic branch gives two branches, zygomatico-temporal, zygomatico-facial. So it passes through zygomatical, this is zygomatical-facial. So it do not passes through zygomatico-facial, it passes through zygomatico-temporal branch. This is zygomatico-temporal. So it passes through this branch, do not this branch. Then it gives branch, it joins with the lacrimal nerve and it gives supply to the, here is lacrimal gland, so it gives supply to the lacrimal gland. This is position of the lacrimal gland. So it gives supply to the lacrimal gland. And also from here, it also gives supply to the mucosa of the palate and also gives supply to the mucosa of the nose, nasal cavity. So this is all about the course and relation of the facial nerve. Thank you. Yes, now we will trace the nerve fibers. Here, as you know, this is special visceral efferent. So this is motor nuclei, special visceral efferent nuclei. So this fiber turns like this, and if you trace, this is, it passes through the motor root here, and it passes like this. This is genucleate ganglion here. It passes in the here. Here this goes into the stapedius muscle. It gives supply to the stapes muscle. And also, if you trace inferiorly, here it passes through stylomastoid foramen, gives supply to the, give branch posterior auricular, which gives supply to the occipital muscle. Occipital belly of the occipital frontalis. It gives posterior belly of digastric. So it gives occipital, this posterior belly of the digastric and stylohyoid muscle. And passes on the lateral side of the styloid process and gives supply, pierces the pituitary gland and gives supply to the muscle of the facial expression by giving 5 branches. This is temporal, zygomatic, this is temporal, zygomatic, buccal, marginal mandibular, and this is cervical. So this is original point, this is origin point of the nerve fiber, and these are the terminal point. So it is started from here and ends, gives supply to these muscles. So this is special visceral efferent motor nuclei. And another thing, if you see another muscle, another nuclei, and there is special visceral efferent. This is this is superior salivatory nucleus. From the superior salivatory nucleus, this is superior salivatory nucleus, fiber passes through the motor root here. Then it passes through geniculate ganglion, then here, then through chorda tympani, it goes into the here submandibular ganglion, and here it synapse and postganglionic fibers give supply to submandibular salivatory gland, and then again goes to this lingual nerve and give supply to this sublingual gland. So this is course of the general visceral efferent fiber, that is superior salivatory nucleus. Now lacrimetry nucleus, and the nucleus is lacrimetry nucleus. So lacrimetry nucleus lies near to the superior salivatory nucleus. It passes through the motor root, and here it passes through the greater petrosal nerve. This is greater petrosal nerve. This is greater petrosal nerve. Then it joins with the deep petrosal nerve and from nerve to pterygoid canal. And here is pterygopalatine ganglion. So this pterygopalatine ganglion, here is synapse and postganglionic fibers goes into the maxillary nerve. Here, this is maxillary nerve. From here, it goes into the zygomatic branch of the maxillary nerve. Then zygomatico-temporal branch. This is zygomatico-temporal branch. From here, it joins with the lacrimal nerve, and from lacrimal nerve, postganglionic fibers go into this lacrimal gland. This is lacrimal gland. So, and also fibers goes from here. After synapsing, fibers goes to supply the palate. So it gives supply to the mucosa of the palate, mucosa of the nose through greater and lesser palatine nerve. So this is origin point, and this is terminal point of the lacrimal nerve. And another thing is special visceral afferent fiber. Special visceral afferent carry taste sensation from anterior 2/3 of the tongue and goes to, this is anterior 2/3 of the tongue from here, this area, except this is here lies circumvallate papillae. So from taste from anterior 2/3 of the tongue, it carries and goes to this cardia tympani, and here it goes like this, and here is position of the nucleus of tractus solitarius. So it goes into the nucleus of tractus solitarius or solitary tract. Carry taste sensation from anterior 2/3 of the tongue. So this is special visceral afferent fiber. And general somatic afferent fiber, it carries sensation from the this is concha of the ear. From concha of the ear it carries sensation. Here it communicates with the vagus nerve. Here it communicates with the vagus nerve, with auricular branch of the vagus nerve. So it communicates with the auricular branch of the vagus nerve, and it joins here, and fibers goes, sensation goes like this, and here is position of the spinal nucleus of trigeminal. So this is, here is spinal nucleus of trigeminal. So these are the origin and termination point of the nerve. So this is all about the facial nerve course, relation and its branches. Thank you. One clinical importance is crocodile tear. This is crocodile tear syndrome in relation to the facial nerve injury. Here, if lesion is here at this level, before the geniculate ganglion, here, during process of regeneration, some nerve fibers which are meant for this salivary gland and are regenerates and goes into this direction, and through this direction it is connected to this lacrimal gland. So during eating, when stimulated, these salivary glands are stimulated to secrete saliva. During this time, these nerve fibers are also stimulated, and same time the tear appears. So this is known as crocodile tears. This tear is due to at the time of the eating. These are the paroxysmal tearing at the time of eating. The reason behind is this: the nerve which are meant for this submandibular salivary gland and sublingual salivary gland, and fibers of this is growth. Some fiber grows in this direction and reaches up to this. So this is reason behind the crocodile tear syndrome. Thank you. Yes, now we'll discuss about the applied anatomy of the facial nerve. If facial nerve is injured, here you can see, if injury is here, this point at the level of sterniomastoid foramen or just above, at this level, then you can see from here the fiber goes through the parotid gland and gives these branches, 5 branches, which supply the muscle of the facial expression. So the muscle of the face paralyzed on the same side, and this is known as Bell's palsy. So Bell's palsy occurs if the lesion is here. If lesion is above to this cardia tympani, this nerve, then along with Bell's palsy, one thing is additional added in the sign and symptom, that is loss of taste from anterior 2/3 of the tongue, and there is loss of the secretion of these two salivary glands, submandibular and sublingual salivary gland. If lesion is above to this nerve to stapedius here, then one another thing is added, that is hyperacusis. Hyperacusis, the sensitivity of the hearing is very increased in hyperacusis. If there is lesion above the geniculate ganglion here, then Bell's palsy, loss of taste of the anterior 2/3 of the tongue, and this loss of secretion of the salivary gland, hyperacusis, plus there is loss of tearing and secretion of the nose. Now we'll discuss about the supranuclear and infranuclear lesion of the facial nerve. In previous lecture we have seen infranuclear lesion of the facial nerve, and here we will compare the supranuclear and infranuclear region. Here is cerebral cortex, this is motor area, here is facial nerve nuclei. This is upper part, this is lower part. This in upper part, fibers comes from same side and also from opposite side, and in lower part fibers comes only from the opposite side. So these fibers, this is upper motor neuron, and here is face. Face divided into 4 regions. Here, this upper part, this part is supplied by the upper fibers like this. Here you can see this forehead is supplied by fibers coming from the same side and also from the opposite side. So from here and from the same side. So this upper part is supplied by fibers from both sides, and the lower part, this is lower, here fibers in the lower region come in the lower region, and from here give supply to the lower part. So this lower part is supplied only by the fibers coming from the contralateral side, opposite sides. This is opposite side, this is opposite side. Fibers which give supply to the lower half, this part. If there is any lesion here, then this part is paralyzed. Paralysis is on opposite side, and this upper part, because it has dual side nerve supply from same side and opposite side, so this part is spare, only this part is paralyzed, lower part. This is upper motor neuron lesion. If lesion is here below the nucleus, facial nerve nuclei, then this is lower motor neuron lesion. If lesion is here, then same side, upper and lower both part paralyzed. So this is lower motor neuron lesion. One example is Bell's palsy. And several other examples are also present. It has already discussed. So this is all about the supranuclear and intranuclear lesion of the facial nerve. Thank you.